So welcome back to another video on this channel. Anyway, let's get into it. So this game, I was playing with white pieces against my slightly stronger rated opponent, and yeah, let's just start off. So I played d4, my favorite first move, and we get into a simple accelerated London with knight d2, bishop d6, bishop g3, castles, knight f3. Knight bd7 is a move. It's not the best move. There's lines here where I can play c4 or c3 at sometimes, but I like to do that after he already commits his c-pawn or if he blocks his c-pawn. Like for example, if his knight goes here, I would play c4 immediately. If he plays c5, I play c3. So I just go bishop d3, takes, c5, and my plan of c3 comes in action, and b6. And now there's two ideas here. On all these London positions, there's always these two ideas. There's either knight e5, just putting knight in the center and just vibing, because I have this pressure over here, so he can't take, because then he loses a defender of this pawn, and captures here, and I probably just win after like bishop back, king here, queen h5, and it's just checkmate. So he can't do that. But the other idea here, instead of knight e5, is of course the move e4, which sometimes works. This time it didn't really work, but you know what? Whatever, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. My opponent takes, I recapture, and bishop there. My idea was to take the knight, and I'd have good control of the center. I'd have good pressure over here. I can take here and give him an isolated pawn, which is very nice. And I thought that, okay, I'm doing quite well. I'm better in all endgames. I might have some knight g5 here at some points. Of course, not right now because that would hang the g2 pawn, but maybe later. And so takes, and I played the move queen e2, which is the best move. The idea is that I'm able to connect the rooks after I castle. 2, I might be able to play bishop a6 at some point, and 3, I'm controlling the e4 square, so then he can't put a knight or a bishop here, which is very, very nice. So my opponent goes there, and I could long castle, but I go for short castles, which is a little inaccurate. The reason why is because I don't see that I'm going to be attacking over here anytime soon. Computer agrees, like plus 0.2, very average position, so I just go short castles. Long castles is slightly better according to the engine, but rook here, I bring my rook to the center. The setup I want is with my rooks on these files, and I thought that he was going to put a rook here and a rook here because this is his semi-open file, and I thought that was probably the best idea. My opponent goes h6, just making left, knight d2, and the idea is to put a knight on this square and trade off the minor pieces and get into an endgame where I'm just slightly better. My opponent goes here, and now I'm considering this bishop a6. Bishop a6 was an idea that I've been looking at for a while. The reason, of course, being that I trade the bishops, and I didn't know if I wanted that type of position where it'd be queen rook rook knight versus queen rook rook knight. So instead, I decided not to do that, and I played knight e4. My opponent just decided to take and trade everything. Now here, of course, I can take. If I want to do this is like probably the easiest way to get to a draw. I mean, I have some chances, but it's mostly a draw, all things considered. I play like queen c2, and I'm fine. But there's white is kind of the only person trying to win this, but I didn't really want to go for this. So instead, I played rook d3. The idea being very simple, of course. Rook takes, and then my queen would be closer to this file, and my opponent's queen can't take it. Can't take the open file. So I go for this. My opponent goes rook d7, and now the first move that I thought, oh my gosh, wait, he just blundered. What? He just blundered. Of course, it's like checkmate because I'm controlling this square, and if my queen moves over here, he has to lose. Oh my gosh, oh no. I'm so stupid, but it's still the best move. I thought, oh wow, this is totally fine, right? Because I'm controlling the h7 square. Not anymore. Not if your queen moves. Duh. Anyway, stupid me. King e7 takes, queen back there, and queen e2. The idea of queen e2, I thought for some time on this move. Well, actually only like 10 seconds, but still a decent amount of time. The idea was that I wanted to save these three squares. So that my opponent couldn't infiltrate. And then I was going to play f3 and bring my king up, because the king is very important in the endgame. And then I try to win one of these two pawns, which I had split earlier in the game. This is kind of when like the real game starts, in my opinion. Everything else was kind of filler. You know, it was kind of interesting back here, but for the moment, I think that this is probably really where the game starts heating up. So king f8, I go f3, which is a mistake. Apparently queen e5 is better. He doesn't have any of this check because there's no perpetual here with the queen guarding. And I'm threatening some stuff. I'm threatening this in some lines. I'm trying to just take this pawn outright. And this is a dangerous position. The only way to safeguard both those threats is queen c8, which is just, that's very bad. That's why I have a +1 advantage here, but I miss it. I miss this move when I play f3 with my simple idea of bringing my king. Queen d5, b3, safeguarding my pawn. Oh, my bad. Little bit of spoilers. b3, safeguarding my pawn, and apparently queen a6 is slightly better and just starting to target some pawns, but whatever. Let's not get into like the nitty gritty details. Also, I realized here with this move f3, there would be no perpetual check ever, because you can't, of course, go through a pawn. So b3, king f2, bring my king here. I give this check, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna win a pawn. I'm winning the game, right? Because after the king moves back, I take this pawn, or if the king moves forward, which is what he did in the game, I can take this pawn, and then I'm threatening these two pawns as well. And this is very nice. My opponent here gives me this check, king g1, and takes this, but I just take, and now I have these massive threats. He can't ever save his pawn. If he saves his pawn, if he plays this, of course I just win by winning his queen over here. So I'm just gonna win. I'm gonna win the pawn. I'm gonna be up 2 pawns, and that's grounds for winning. That's grounds for resignment for my opponent. So my opponent plays queen c1, and I go for the simple king h2, which is the best move. Of course, queen g5, I just fork him. I don't know why my opponent did this to end off the game. Of course, the position is still losing, but I mean, you could have at least tried. You know, you could have gone for like king d4 or something, and like tried to make a draw. But it's okay. It's not like I'm mad about losing. I'm just mad about winning. I'm mad about. Let me rephrase that. It's not like I'm mad about winning, but I'm just mad about winning so incredibly strongly that my opponent just has no soul left and will just probably cry himself to sleep tonight just because of this game alone. So that was this game. Let's do a quick recap. So the game started with d4 and a simple London structure, where I was able to bring my bishop back, and I was able to open up this file very quick into the game with some attacking ideas. c5, c3, very important. And I go for the wrong plan of e4 instead of the nice and simple knight e5, which would have just been almost winning on the spot. We have some trades in the center, and I'm able to give him an isolated pawn, so all my endgames are better. He comes here with his queen, trying to bring his rooks in. Ooh, that is rough. Well, I'm gonna fix that. Welcome back. Sorry about that long pause there, but either way, well, wasn't long for you, long for me. I'm able to cancel and bring my rook to the center. We trade pretty much all of the pieces. I'm able to go queen e2 to stop him from joining in, and I bring my king wrongly. I'm able to win a pawn, and then win another pawn, and then my opponent just simply resigns after the very simple f4. Oh, my computer started up again, but luckily we have finished the video. So hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you found this instructional. Yeah. Either way, good evening and good night.